HeroScapers! Hello and welcome back. I am Joe Crazy and this is ScapeCon 2 Lightweight. And with me today is Gbizzy, aka Cody. Cody, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I am doing great as always. I am playing. This was right after the main event, the main tournament event, because I played 3 games. And I was like, "That's it. My shirt is drenched of sweat, and I had to stop and go do other things." So I was like, "Let's go play lightweight." And so I met the gentleman Mitchel, and he's got Phantom Knights and a squad of Stingers. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 3 squads of Phantom Knights and 1 squad of Stingers. And I think right before we started, Cody, you said this map is called Percolator?
Percolator, yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Trying to remember. I think it's by Ulysses, if I remember correctly.
That does sound familiar. I've seen his name quite a bit when it comes to map making.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, but talking about lightweight, again, I wasn't at ScapeCon 2. But lightweight sounds like a really fun, casual, like you were saying, like a bit of a relief from the competitive environment that ScapeCon can be.
Yes. And so I have Wusaga. I think it was 1 squad or 2 squads of Nagrubs, Stingers, and Miberxa. This was 275 points per army. I know it's something I usually don't talk about the pointage for the army builds. But yeah, this was 275, and there was also A and under. And so for those that are not familiar with what that means, I mean, obviously if you're not familiar with game modes in general for events, lightweight just means low point value. Because most matches are about 400 and above.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Now, obviously, if you're familiar with the channel, Utz Cup, Schweppes Cup have always been 360, so pretty much lightweight at that point. So I guess 360 is the lightweight. I don't know what what would you think the category of like what determines to be lightweight? Like what is the middle ground? Like when does it turn over to heavy?
I would really say like normal, normal scape is like 400 and above, and then once you're below 400 seems to be that threshold, but maybe like 350. Like 350 seems like you're getting into the small point total category.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah.
And I was just saying before, but this was Saga looks so good. It's such a good paint job.
Yes. Yeah, that all goes to Glenn. My buddy Glenn, he does great work. He's very humble. He's like, oh no. So Glenn, you're good at this. You've painted so many Warhammer models, and I know this was, I think, your first take of doing Morrowskin. Came out perfect. I love it.
And it's got to be really relaxing going from painting Warhammer to painting heroScape. That's such a not to say anything bad about heroScape models or anything, but they're not nearly as detailed as Games Workshop stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I mean this is way more relaxing to an extent, because for him, like he has to build the models, glue them together. He actually magnetized a lot of them that he did.
Yeah.
So
you're talking about Warhammer, right?
Yeah, with Warhammer, he took off the arms, put these tiny magnets in the shoulders, so he can switch out the weapons for some of the characters.
It's pretty cool though.
Oh no, it's super cool to do that. Like he was showing me, it's wicked. It's wicked.
I can't remember if I talked to you about this, but I think we were talking about the last Salisbury tournament, but talking about the one person that did a custom job on their Hydra. They like chop the heads off and then magnetize the heads so you could take them off as the Hydra like lost lives.
That's genius.
It's so cool.
That's genius. Hey Renegade, do that. Renegade, do that, please. let us do that, or just do that for us. That'd be great. $500 for the Hydra. Somebody would buy it, not me. Somebody would buy it. Trust me.
I have to imagine it'd be pretty heavy too, with 4 magnets like that in there. You
I don't
know,
think so.
maybe not. It can't be as heavy as the original Woe Saga. I don't know how heavy
Well,
your 3D printed
no,
one is, but
no.
that thing is
But at some point,
chonky.
yeah, no. But at some point, though, there's the magnets, tiny, 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 tiny.
Yeah.
It's not gonna add too much.
And so, who was this that you were playing against again?
Mitchell.
Mitchell. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
Mitch.
well, met him at ScapeCon, but I also saw him at one of the last college park event that I went to.
Yeah. Yeah, his him and his brother seemed to be pretty. I wasn't around during the Gen Con days, but they played a lot back then, I guess. And from what I've seen, they're both Nick and Mitch are both pretty good players.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Nick won. He won one of the events at College Park. I can't remember which tournament it was, but I do remember him winning. Yeah. By the way, Phantom Knights seemed like a pretty good pick for this
Oh,
particular format.
oh yeah, they were. They were.
The single squad of stingers on both sides of the board seem interesting, though.
Yeah. Yeah, to definitely touch on that. I'm surprised I'm this far into it, but then again, he really doesn't have to do much. Because, his Phantom Knights are going to be swarm into the battle soon.
Yeah, I mean, Burks is not really going to help you too much unless he gets a paralyzing stare
Yeah.
on them. And the stingers, I guess. Yeah. I'm curious, do you remember who, like, any particular armies in this event that stood out to you is like, oh, wow, that's interesting?
For lightweight?
Yeah, for lightweight.
I think the one with MK Plus Ultra was interesting. I think he had Cyprin because he loves Cyprin.
Yeah.
That one was a tough battle.
Yeah, because Cyprin can kind of kite around the board and do stuff,
Yeah.
on his own.
I think Glenn took Cyprin too, but I don't remember. I actually don't remember. Like I said, this is the first lightweight we're looking at. So
Yeah.
Spoiler alert to the other people I played against, honestly, at that point. But the only other battle there was MK Plus Ultra, Glenn, and Colton. And Colton took a bunch of fourth mass. And
Nice.
that's when I hated fourth mass.
Fair enough.
I
Yeah,
do
because
look forward to watching that because it was a lot of wait and fires.
Well, that's probably part of the reason why the point total was 275 instead of 280, because at 280 you could get 4 times fourth mass. So it sounds like you got 3 and then filled it in with some other probably Valiant stuff, I imagine.
Yeah, it was whatever the Gen Con guy was. Can't think of the whatever guy that's a revolutionary Civil War. So I don't remember what.
Oh, Samuel Brown.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So was this was a classic event I'm taking? Because Samuel Brown does count as classic, even though he was released, but they never released an actual painted figure for him. They were like, paint your own.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he is considered classic, just like Master Wu and Nirak and Skahan. Or Sakine, as I've heard her name pronounced before. I still don't know how to pronounce her name.
Look, that's a whole video topic because how people pronounce everything from Valkyrie to Valkyrie to Valkyrie. I mean, the list could go on with that. Like, it's at this point, it's whatever you feel is right.
Yeah.
Like, for example, any of the Maro names, Wusaga, Nigaxa, like, I like saying it with the spaces, where I've heard of Nigaxa, Wusaga, like, saying it like as one word, and I have a hard time with that one.
Yeah, we have fun within our play group. Like, we like to come up with nicknames, especially if we're playing like a really long game and everyone's getting tired. We just start coming up with nicknames, and they usually stick.
Oh, nicknames are the best. I love that. Let me ask you, can you guess my nickname for one of the characters? His name is Thwang Thwang.
Can you say that again?
Thwang Thwang.
Twang twang. Is it a hero or a squad member?
It's a hero.
Hero. Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess it's Morrow because you're Joe Crazy and your mind shackled. But
I didn't come up with the name.
oh, okay. Ooh, interesting. I don't know. I don't have a guess for that.
Double attack.
Double
Ranged.
attack. Oh, Cyverus.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's like a what? An onomatopoeia where it makes the sound like the word you're saying sounds like what it is actually what it sounds like.
Yeah.
That's great. I might steal that. I usually just call him Legolas because that's what he looks like.
True. And that's pretty much what Ryan from Tales of Valhalla, he was trying to do the exact opposite with that when he made his character in TOV.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's literally what he was thinking of.
That's great. And then of course Elgrim looks like Gimli and he's not even a dwarf.
Right.
He's frustrating.
I mean, the dwarf from AOA looks like him. I mean, with a giant axe, but kind of looks like him.
God. Yeah, I really hope we get that guy at some point.
Dude, that's my hope. That's my hope and prayers that we do get all of those characters.
I feel like Dwarf Axe Grinders went up like another $20 a squad after he was announced.
Oh, I bet.
Once people found out he was bonding, he could bond with them. They're like, oh, another bonding dwarf. Great.
Yeah.
Man, you're rolling nice with me Burks over here right now.
Yeah. Usaga's gone.
Yeah.
I wasn't. That was understood. Anything with 3 or 4 lives, I'm just not a fan of because it's to me that's way too weak. No matter what your defense is.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't remember what Wosaga is in Delta, but I'm pretty sure she's close to like 100 points rather than 135, which feels better.
Yeah.
And even at that, like her, I've never really had much with her coil crush ability going off. I don't know if you have.
I've coil crushed before.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see it happening. It's one of those abilities that like, I don't know. I don't know how they factored that into the points, what the design thought on that was, but it seems like a low chance of happening,
Yeah, it doesn't, like I said, it's not going to happen all the time because what's tough is that it's a hero killer.
Yeah.
Where I feel like your squads should be hero killers and your heroes should be squad killers. That to me is the better dynamic when it comes to heroScape.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good example of that. I guess there's a lot out there like that.
Yeah, Q9 is an example of that.
I'm trying to think of a bonding, hero.
Bonding.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't really think of.
When it comes to C3V, we're using Nagrubs to me can be a hero killer, but
just by sheer number of attacks, I guess.
Yeah, but I was gonna say I always get them confused. The C3V character with the swords.
Contorna?
Contorna.
Yeah.
He to me is a pretty good squad killer because he can his first Thirst for Blood, I think, something like that. Where it's pretty much like he can attack, get a kill, and then he can leap again and then get another kill.
Yeah. Man, he's one of those figures. That's one thing I gotta get done before ScapeCon 3. I got one of those from Temple of the West. I don't know if you heard of him. He was the guy making the metal figures, and I got a metal Contarna from him.
Well, I'm not automatically jealous of that. Cool.
I might just bring it. He might still have some in stock, but I got it for like $12 or something. I mean, versus like whatever the astronomical price people are asking for the original. But
sure,
I might even just leave him metal. Like he looks cool metal. So does Morgoloth actually.
Yeah, I mean that is a good, interesting take in seeing how people, because it's kind of like having like a specialty skin of a character in a video game. Like, cool, I got the gold skin of this, or I got the, diamond version of this character, and it's just all diamond and all gold or whatever.
Well, if you remember from the first Salisbury tournament I held, I had a gold mini black wormling to go for the
Yeah,
second place trophy.
yeah,
Um, I think Loki took that home. Hopefully, he brings it to ScapeCon. I mean, I'd love to see that.
yeah.
Yeah, Jack. He was on one of your videos, one of these videos actually, and he was showing off those minions of Utgar that had like the guitars.
Yes,
Those are the
yes.
most. Those are got to be the sickest custom skin, I guess you could say, of every of variation of any figure I've ever seen. That's pretty cool looking.
Oh no, it's genius. I love that. That was
Yeah.
so cool, and that all of them are gonna have different versions of guitars and stuff. Um, yeah, I was waiting for more pictures to come because I was gonna add them to the video. So Jack, if you're watching this, please send me pictures of those characters.
Also, speaking of alternate skins, have you ever seen the Phantom Knights from D&D? They're not actually Phantoms; they're like regular knights.
Oh, interesting. No, I haven't.
Yeah, they held a contest on Herescapers, I guess a few months ago, to come up with a unique squad card for those normal human. I guess some people called them like alive knights or something. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
not Phantom Knights.
yeah.
But they're really cool. They're actually pretty easy to find too. But it'd be cool to just have a couple squads of those, swap them out for Phantoms. So those are same sculpt, they're just different color.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I mean really can open up a can of worms. To be honest, is
Yeah,
alternate versions of character cards. So it's
yeah,
like, oh, I have stingers, but these aren't the stingers you know. These are the alternate stingers, and these stingers don't have stinger drain. They have a different ability, and they have
yeah,
different stats. And like that to me is an entirely different can of worms.
yeah. Well, so I guess the big thing with like alternate, this is a little different, but alternate sculpts, right? Like instead of like an alternate paint job, you have a just a different figure.
Sure.
And I guess the like prevailing sentiment against that is that, you know, what about the hit zones, right? But talking to just a quick plug for the WhoScape podcast that me and Lex do,
Of
our
course.
last episode we did with I Am Batman, who's kind of like the leader of C3G, superhero scape. He was explaining that they're doing superhero scape 2.0 or C3G 2.0, and they're not going to have hit zones, so that they can be miniature agnostic to allow people to pick what minis they want to. Now there'll still be size and stuff like that on the card, but you can pick like the silhouette doesn't matter essentially, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to remember how it was like a can't remember how the line of sight thing worked because I did ask him that, but you have to check out the podcast. Everybody have to check
Sure.
out the podcast to get that
Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
But
Don't spoil
it's
everything. Yeah, because
yeah, don't
I didn't get to
against
that one yet either.
yeah, but there's some good stuff in there for sure.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously the link will be for that in the description because I was gonna mention that at the end, because even though the game is over and I did lose, oh big whoop there. I was gonna ask about WhoScape. I said that right?
Yeah, yeah.
um, and a little bit about you and Lex's goal in what WhoScape was and what it does and all that. But I mean, we could answer that now. WhoScape?
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have you on at some point, Joe. You're definitely on
Hopefully,
my.
very far down the line. There were
You're
way more important people in front of me.
you're on a very long list. We'll say
Yes,
that.
I
It's a
would
pretty
hope so. Yeah.
and ever growing. And Craig Vedness, if you're listening, you're at the top of the list. So if you're
Yes,
hearing
because
this,
of all the episodes, he's listening to this one.
yeah, ScapeCon lightweight. He's looking out for it. But yeah, WhoScape is just kind of. We don't really have a particular direction other than bringing people on and from the community, whether they're competitive players or map makers or part of the customs community projects, which that's kind of been our main focus from the beginning. Seeing as how without those, Heroescape likely wouldn't the community wouldn't have survived the way that it has. Um, and so it felt like a debt owed to them to bring those guys on, and more are coming in the future. So yeah, I mean, Yeah, just bringing on and I'm no like master at anything heroScape related. I'm just someone that enjoys the game, so I felt like bringing other people on that just enjoy the game and want to talk about it. Great reason to have a podcast.
Oh yeah, I mean it is, and that's the one thing I love about more people coming into this space and making content about heroScape is that for me it's like at one point you're like, oh, there's more competition. No, I want that. Not the
Yeah.
competition, but I want people to come in because it helps spread the game more. You know, I always say that if Minecraft wouldn't be the juggernaut it is today if it wasn't for all the people making content on it. Same with Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, for how crazy that game is, it wouldn't be the franchise and it wouldn't be having a movie right now if it wasn't for the huge community. So with
And not
that,
only a huge community, but also a diverse one where there's
yeah,
so many different like subsets of interest. Like some people are like for heroScape, for example, it's like some
mm-hmm.
people are super into competitive scene. Like I said, some people just build maps, some people um just like talking about lore, which is crazy. I didn't think anybody was that into heroScape lore until I saw Jeremy on the Tales of Valhalla. But and then
True.
he got me into it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is actually a lot deeper than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
It could be better, but hopefully Renegade's working on that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree, and I think both of us are on the optimism train. I think hoping that Heroescape deserves to be up there with the war games of the world. I
Mm-hmm.
believe, and I think it will be. I think it will be in the future.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, the true potential for this game is the ease of access, and this is something that I know Warhammer is starting to do, where they're trying to make their game easier to understand, so more people can come in and play. But for anyone that obviously loves HeroScape more than any other tabletop war game, knows that with Warhammer, you gotta build your figures, you have to paint your figures, you have to choose what chapter of figures you want to play with.
Mm.
It goes really, really in depth where you're like, here, yeah, you get to pick your characters. You could choose to 3D print them and paint them yourselves. Like, there is all of that also up to debate. But it's pretty much, you know, slap them on the table and you're ready to play.
Yeah, I love Warhammer from a distance. I've always been super into the lore, like the grimdark stuff is super cool. And obviously the models look amazing. But where it starts to fall apart for me is the gameplay. Like I've watched so many games, and I'm sure it's different when you're playing, of course.
Right.
But there's just not the depth of like choices to be made versus like HeroScape. HeroScape's gameplay is so deep and rewarding, although it doesn't maybe seem like that on the surface to people that haven't played, but it totally is. Like you're talking about order markers, and it's like a more complicated version of chess when you're looking at it mechanically. You know.
Yes. Mechanically, when it comes to Warhammer, because I just witnessed this a couple weeks ago, my buddy Glenn and Matt and I, well, they got to play. I watched and just kind of like filmed and took pictures and stuff. It was incredible to watch them play. But the one thing that I couldn't stand, and it was really frustrating to me, and I had a hard time following it live, by the way, was that when you play Warhammer, and after you set up the map area, the entire table, which takes up way more space than HeroScape does,
Mhm.
and you're putting all your models, and a lot more models than HeroScape, granted, which to me is a huge plus, but another debate. But for when it comes to turns, Glenn and his 30 plus figures all have to take their turn first, and then Matt takes his 30 plus characters and moves all of them. And then
Yeah.
they do that back and forth, back and forth.
Okay, so you're a fan of like big armies then, right? Or, like more figures on the board.
That's why I like tomorrow.
That's okay. So we have that in common, and I know that you've been working on God, why am I blanking? The adventure, Heroescape adventure.
Yes, yeah.
So I was messing with that a little bit, and then I started messing with another idea that I have as a fan of Warhammer, right? And as a fan of larger armies, like big common squads. I remember when I was a kid, I had one. I never had multiples of a common squad.
Mm.
So when I rediscovered the game, I was like, oh wait, they're way better if you have multiples of commons. And then I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like you can build up giant armies. And so now I'm kind of working on this little project that I got going where I'm trying to split the difference between heroScape and Warhammer and like getting into like 1,000 point battles, but not where you only have one set of order markers. Maybe you have two or three, depending on how many points you're playing by, and you get to take all of your first turns at once and all of your second turns. Obviously, there has to be some type of system to. I guess there doesn't necessarily have to be. I guess you could take which turn you want to, like which one you want to take first. Um, I'm trying to figure out a way to do it to keep all of the rules that exist in HeroScape intact and not change anything other than the total amount of figures and points on the board. Really.
I have your
Um,
answer.
how's
I
that?
have your
Go ahead.
answer. So there, if you're not familiar with the Warhammer community, which I grant it, I don't blame you for not knowing. But there, and I didn't know this until Glenn introduced to me. But there is a game that, or a company, or a group of fans came out with something called one-page rules.
Mm.
Now, this is Warhammer simplified. You can use your Warhammer characters. That at this point in the game, they've been out long enough where they've created their own characters, and that's a whole other thing. But how they do turns is, and I think there are other games out there, but this is just my only reference of knowing this is how they do turns, is let's say I'm going to use heroScape as an example. I have a squad of stingers. I have 2 squads of drones, and I have Nigaxa. All right, and you got Grimnack, Heavy Gruts, and let's say 2 squads of Aerogruts. And so, in that sense, you would, of course, you'd want to put order markers. Take order markers out of it. What if you'd go, and I don't know if it would work for heroScape at all. I'm just pitching the idea to you for maybe to work with your own thing. Is
Yeah.
that we roll for initiative, okay, and that would be it for the rest of the game. It's one initiative for the entire game.
Ooh. Okay, so that speeds up. So you're just going back and forth.
Right, you just go back and forth. But what
Taking a turn with
happens?
one card at a time, or
Essentially, yes. So
okay.
it's you choose, you know, what activations. Everyone gets to do their activations. So you do your. I'll do Nigaxa. Okay, I'll move him, and then I don't remember if you do your attacks too. I think you do you do your attacks too, and then you do your activation, and then I'll do my activation. We go back and forth with activations until all of them are done.
I like that. I
And
like that a lot.
then for that one turn, oh, BattleTech, it does that the same way.
Now, the only problem with that is there's a lot of order marker, not I won't say a lot, but there's order
There,
marker interactions
yeah,
on cards. That's the one problem you run into with that.
yeah.
Um,
And so it depends. I mean, obviously, it's like after revealing an order marker, or like you could almost switch some of the terminology, because obviously there's way more, like especially with Siege, and you have to reveal the X order marker, which you could just have on him.
yeah.
But like other characters, trying to think of
Let me think. The Capuan gladiators, like in
okay,
order for them to, what is it? In order for them to get like the extra attack and defense die, I believe all order markers have to be on gladiators, right?
right,
So I guess you could just change it to like, are all of the figures in
activations.
your army gladiators? Yeah, or that you could do activations too somehow.
Yeah, like for
Um,
example, like I'm not saying you're limited to 3 activations, or like I mean technically it's however how many cards, because like even said, like I had like 2 squads of drones, and you would move all of the drones.
mhm.
I mean, because for one page rules like Warhammer, you could have squads and a hero combined.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So like I
Yeah.
could have Nigaxa, a squad of stingers, and like 3 squads of drones in that squad. Like that's a
Yeah.
whole
That
thing, and you move all of them.
what do they call that in Warhammer? It's like a unit, I guess, maybe.
Yeah,
I
a
can't remember.
unit. Yeah,
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page with that. I have to bounce some more ideas off of you. I haven't been working on it as much because of ScapeCon coming up, getting ready
sure.
for that. But Yeah,
that's going to be a hard pitch for some people, but it is an interesting concept.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't use it as like a like I wouldn't do an event with it or anything like that. It's more of just like a fun, casual way to enjoy the game with mass armies, where it doesn't take 7 hours to play in 1,000 point game, you know.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
But that, like, think of it this way too. It's like, I'm sure other game modes. I mean, even I know Reverse the Whip may not be the best example because that was them trying to figure out an answer for like how do we make the sweat game mode even harder and sweaty.
Yeah.
But like game modes like that kind of spur of the moment. Like, oh yeah, it'd be fun. What if we play 3 games in a row, and I play my army, and you play your army, and then second game we just swap.
Yeah.
Right? And so that could be fun. And then who knows? That could be the sweatiest game mode. Like, they didn't realize that at first. It's like caveman discovering fire.
See, that's the thing about Reverse the Whip. And I have a very small sample size. I've only played 2 games, right? I played my army and then played with my opponents.
Right.
But it is extremely fun in the casual setting. I imagine it gets a little different when you're playing at a competitive setting like ScapeCon and everyone's trying to win. But at the same time, it's like the uniqueness of that experience of like playing. Like my worry about it was I don't want to, like, I like playing what I want to play, right? That's like part of the fun of me. But playing what someone else brought and figuring out how that works and how the other person like was thinking, like what's the thinking behind this build, and you have to kind of figure it out on the fly. That's really cool. I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah, that is a test of skill and knowledge.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of, I was handed an orc army, and at the time I didn't know how to pod. I didn't know how to work that orc army. We don't have that many squads of heavies, and Grimnack. I understand what Grimnack does. I know what the heavies do, but them working together, I didn't. So
it seems rather strong for Reverse the Whip too, from my understanding.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember if that was what the exact army build was, but I remember that was something I did have to play with.
Yeah. I imagine they didn't go undefeated then if they brought heavies and Grimnack. That's tough. Like when you hand that to someone else, there's going to be a lot of players that are really giddy that you just handed them Grimnack and a squad that bonds with them on top of it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, what was the... I think that was like episode 2 or 3.
That was on here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to go back and watch that. I've watched all of them, but I guess I forgot that one. Or maybe I didn't. Actually, maybe I didn't realize it was Reverse the Whip.
Let's see. Main event. That was Ginger Kid. I
did watch that
what
one.
List that was, but yeah. That was the one match I got to play with Reverse the Whip.
I usually save your videos until like if it comes, like let's say you dropped a video tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll wait until like the next day or maybe a Saturday, and I like to wake up and have my coffee and watch a ScapeCon Joe Crazy video, or even better, I like the dual videos too. Yeah, it's nice to just wake up and chill and watch a heroScape battle video.
Saturday morning cartoons.
Exactly, it's better than that. It's better than
no. Don't say that. It's not better than Saturday morning cartoons. That is.
It depends on the cartoon. Samurai Jack. I might have to go with Samurai Jack against heroScape. I don't know.
Okay, good. Because I remember waking up a lot of mornings. It wasn't just Saturday. I just remember waking up before school and watching Teen Titans. So.
Oh my God! Teen Titans was probably the best cartoon of my era as well. Yeah. I love Teen Titans. Who's your favorite character? Out of curiosity.
It's because I was gonna say it's funny because I've actually been rewatching it now. It's been my show of the week or the month, I should say, because I go through shows very quickly. Man, it's either between Cyborg and Beast Boy.
Yeah. Mine's got to be Slane, the bad guy.
Oh, Slade.
Sure. Slade, not Slane. Yeah, Slade. Yeah.
Slade. I mean, when it comes to villains,
yeah, he's pretty good.
You still don't. I mean, I haven't finished the 5th season yet, and there is no 6th season. But you still don't know who he really is.
Yeah, actually, I think he's based on he's pretty sure he's based on Deathstroke, which is
Yes.
a comic book character, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in same of DC. Like that's Deathstroke is DC.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I always thought that was. I mean, one. I mean, this is why if you look at the hat here, he had the same combo colors. So I
Ah,
mean, it was more
yeah.
steel. Like it was like more like a steel, but it was always like this bright orange metallic, face mask with the black, and like he always was shown in shadow and darkness,
Yeah.
and so maybe
He was
that's something like
always
that appealed to me.
he was always saying something like philosophical but also like threatening at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah, the whole back and forth with Robin and the Red X that Robin created this villain character to play and to
Yeah.
try to win Slade over like a father figure to
Yeah.
to get
God,
one under him.
you just convinced me to rewatch that show. Now I got to rewatch that.
Yeah, it's on Max. I've been watching it on Max.
Okay, well, I guess I'm getting HBO Max then.
There you go.
Oh
Not
man.
Spawn, but totally Spawn. Tyler could be though. So
Yeah. Oh man. Ah.
the only thing I forgot to explain during this video, and I apologize to the audience because we just the topics have been just flying all over the place. What A and under was on what was because I had said that this was a lightweight A and under, and I
Oh
never got to
yeah.
explain what A and under was, and I just wanted to make sure that people understood what it was, because as of game parameters, I thought it was an interesting one. Um, so A and under, A meaning is a ranking system. So uh, the guy that runs ScapeCon, Mike, Orc Elf Army 1, OEAO, he has his own power rankings for all of the characters in heroScape. And he has a list on heroescapers.com. We'll put it in the description for you guys to go check out. Other people have done those before. I know Doc has one, which is very popular. I think that's the list that you guys use, right?
Docs. I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure. We might use mics. We might use mics. I go by mics usually, but I think they're both pretty similar though, especially with are you talking about A plus? A plus is the units that are banned, right? A and under.
Yeah.
I
So yeah, A and under. So there are A plus. It does go A plus, A minus, and so on.
right.
So there is three different characters, three, I guess, parameters in each letter. And so I think of rats, Mara warriors. I should say rats meaning Death Reavers,
Yeah.
and Q9,
And Raylan,
and
Rise of the
Raylan,
Valkyrie.
Rise of the
Yeah.
Valkyrie Raylan, yeah, are essentially banned for lightweight. So instead of saying, "Hey, these four characters are banned and everyone's a go," they have
What's
listed
really
as A and under. Yeah.
what's really funny about that list too is that is literally an army.
Yeah, no, it's
Death
pretty much you're just
Reavers,
banning
Raylan.
one particular army. Yeah.
Yeah, like get that out of here. We don't want that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I believe on Doc's list, or maybe this was a change that Mike made to his list was Asamu. That was a debated topic. When I was first getting back into the game, I believe Asamu was in that A plus tier, and I think just because he's ridiculously good for 20 points, and also the fact that
You
he's
mean
kind
for
of an
10
auto
points?
include for 10 points. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah,
20
I
points
mean,
in
yeah,
Delta.
I think you're playing Delta too long.
Yeah, yeah, that's the problem, right? But yeah, he I don't know. It does seem weird to put a 10-point figure even with how good he is.
Yeah.
But cuz you're not building an army around him. You're not really building an army around Mara Warriors either really,
No.
um but yeah, Mara Warriors. I wasn't that impressed with them until I saw them at high level play, and they really show a player's skill. I'll put it that way.
Oh yeah.
Um
Oh yeah, that's for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. They have a low floor and a very high ceiling.
Yes, because I still can't figure them out. They're the only Mara unit I can go and be like, "Yep, I don't even use them. I don't. They're not even like my first thought of like. I'd rather put the Hive in than I would the Mara Warriors. Like I just cannot figure them out.
You know what though? Even if you don't know how to play them, they're a psychological warfare piece of your army. Because when I sit at the table and I look across and I see Mara Warriors, I'm like, okay, what is my opponent doing with them? I don't really care so much about the rest of their army until I figure out what they're doing with those guys.
Well, I
You
guess
know?
I just revealed my hand because I don't know what I'm doing with them. So you see him in my army, he's like, good, Joe has no idea.
Well, okay, I don't have to worry about those.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
But that will wrap it up. We'll wrap it up there. Going on about 40 minutes. We're pretty good. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, before we jump off on another topic like we love to do.
Oh yeah, we're getting close. We were getting real close to that one. So anyway, this map. No, definitely, Cody. We will have you back on talking about literally any topic. We'll find out. We'll get a topic. We'll get it. It is a pleasure to talk to you. I do really appreciate you coming on and us, talking over the game. I know we really didn't talk too much about the game, but that you guys know how this goes. This is not. We don't analyze. This is not 10 points under. Okay, this ain't super analyzing stuff. So. This is a mix between Tales of Valhalla podcast and well, I guess WhoScape. We'll transition back over to that, right? Just kind of having a casual conversation with with a heroScaper. So
Yeah. You know what? Not to go on. I just want to throw this out there.
Sure.
What would be hilarious is if you get Mike and Matthias to like review the same video that you do, like to do an overview of like one of these ScapeCon battle videos, and then you do one also, and then see the differences between, like, we're going off on tangents talking about like Teen Titans, and they're probably analyzing like every aspect of the game and what's going on.
Well, I mean, even the one that I did with Mike.
Oh yeah, true.
I mean,
true.
we talked about the game a lot. I think we talked about more of like positioning. And I may be wrong by this because I know I'm a lot of the episodes have been mixed in my head because I'm learning so much more with everybody, between the army builds and positioning and utilizing the map and having map control. And choosing your battles. I remember that specifically from Ryan, aka Vidar 43, about talking about choosing your battles and knowing who to engage with and who not to engage with. And so, yeah, I mean, between all of that, I mean, obviously, look, if I can get Ken on this to analyze one of these videos, it'd be atrocious. It'd just probably be like, not yelling, but like in his calm, nice adult voice, just going, no, you can't really do that. Oh, you wouldn't do that. You would do this instead, and probably your army build there, and that's your first mistake there. And I mean, yeah, obviously, like, but if anything, I'd have to record like one of like a game now, and then analyze it. And so, okay, so if I'm taking all of the experience I've gotten, all the stuff that I've learned, I played this match. What did I do wrong here? After learning way more. Because this is still baby me. This is baby version. This is like more like teenager. I would say Schweppes Cup and Utz, adolescence being Utz Cup, toddler being a Schweppes Cup. So I need more like teenager Joe Crazy skill level.
That's where I feel like I'm at right now. Teenager, maybe like preteen on.
I would say go into young adult. Like you're in like you're about to get your driver's license. Okay, like that's what I'm.
Only because I've been thrust into the fires with Ben, Earl Sandwich, and Ryan. They're both so good that like I gotta step up to meet their level of play.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Which one thing I didn't want to forget to talk about too is Cody. In between Erlo Sandwich, Ben, and Vidar 43, aka Ryan, they are hosts of the Mars events, which is the Mid-Atlantic. That's the only one I remember.
Mid-Atlantic Regional Scapers.
Which one's the A? Oh, Mid-Atlantic MA
Yeah.
Regional Scapers. Okay, MARS. Yes. Okay.
There's technically a dash in between mid and Atlantic, but it's still, the
It
acronym is way
counts.
cooler with Mars.
Oh,
And it's
it's
also stolen from Mid Atlantic Regional Spaceport, which is where I work at, which is pretty cool.
oh.
Just didn't know where that acronym. I've said this before on multiple forms of media, but I have no idea who came up with that name, but I'm still tracking them down, trying to figure that out.
Oh, you're talking about with Mars?
Yeah, because they have to have some interest in space and know about the spaceport to have stolen that acronym and how close it is. There's only one word in that acronym that's different, and
I,
from ours to the
true.
spaceport. Yeah,
True.
so
Hmm.
unless they just got really lucky with the naming convention, that could be the case too. But
It honestly, it could just be a coincidence. I really truly feel that could have been it. Like, be like, oh
it could have
yeah,
been.
we're Mid Atlantic, regional scapers. Yeah, that's pretty much. That seems so like. I mean, because I didn't know about the spaceport, so like,
Yeah.
I would have thought of it that way. Like, oh yeah, Mid Atlantic regional scapers, obviously, duh. That's simple. And then all of a sudden, you like turn around and go, huh? Look at that sign. Looks just like a. Wait a minute.
Speaking of Mars too, I don't know if you brought this up on your channel yet, but with ScapeCon East, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like a big reason why, and this is just total speculation, a reason why that was able to happen is the collaborative effort. Obviously, Mike being Mike,
Right.
and he's got his group up in the Northeast, and then you have us down here in like the lower, like the Mid Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
I think ScapeCon East wouldn't really be possible without those two groups. You know what I mean? Obviously, Mike is a centerpiece to that because he's organizing it. But getting bodies there, would be kind of hard for most regions to have. I know Hexacon happened, and this will probably be on about that level of participants.
Right.
But it's really cool to have a region that's so active that we can have our own little mini ScapeCon, that you'll be going to, which I'm happy you'll be there.
Oh, it's that. Look, it's in my home state. Why? It'd be weird if I wasn't there. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
it's not. It's so like odd. Like, to me, like not that It feels. I don't know. It just feels so. It's so good. It feels so good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
No, but I mean, that actually is possible. Yes, because of Mike, but also because of these two groups being known and have been lasting for a certain amount of time and having this consistency and growth.
Yeah.
So this could happen literally anywhere, regardless of your location. If you're in the U.S. or the U.K., like just if you have a group of scapers, if you guys go to a place, if it's a game shop or not. A lot of people do host in their own homes. If you just have a group that you play with and you get a consistent basis, make yourself known on the internet and let people know, hey, we are scapers, we're playing, come join us. And then eventually somebody can make your own ScapeCon West and ScapeCon this and do that, and just spread your wings and have your own conventions or hexacans and you can't hexacants, like whatever you want, just.
Well, that's literally what I've done. I mean, within a year, I think,
Mm-hmm.
right before AOA happened, all that happened, I decided to like host an event at my LGS, and it was just me and my brother, and then, Mark and Zach.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you've met the other Joe. He hasn't come to any events recently, but I met three people that I didn't even know and my brother. And I didn't even know who was going to show up other than me and my brother. And it ended up being five of us. And that was our first technical event. It was just a casual get to know each other, see what's up. And now me and, fast forward a year and me and Zach work together and we hang out like pretty often, most weekends, I'd say. And I talk to Mark on a daily basis. So not only do you get to build a heroScape community, now we're up to like, I think our last few events we've had like 12 people and up to like 16 people interested. But you get to build, friendships and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
it's just a great way to spend your time, honestly.
absolutely. Yeah. So no matter where you guys are, there is a group waiting for you to join. And if you are part of a group, let us know in the comments below, if you play, how often do you play? If you guys get together, we can use this video as a way to make more friends, more escapers. We can find, no matter what, we can find common ground. Not everybody has to have height advantage, okay? We can find common ground about something about heroScape for us to talk about, and we can talk about that in the comments below. So, Cody, thank you so much for joining with me. Please go check out WhoScape with Cody and Lex. And if you are in the Mid-Atlantic region or on the East Coast and you can drive down to Maryland, please come and join us. These guys are a blast to be around. So come on out to their tournaments. You can find them out on heroScape.org and also heroScape.org and also heroScapers.com. And you can find a link to their own Discord channel as well. So all the links in the description below. So
Yeah, thanks for having me, Joe.
You're very welcome. But until next time, keep on scaping, and don't forget, I am not crazy. I'm Joe Crazy.